Hard work wins. You get out of life what you put into it. You cannot control the outcome, but you are 100% in control of the effort. Before you complain about what happened to you, ask yourself, what could I have done to change the outcome? And no matter how hard you work, how good you are, bad things will happen. How you respond to those bad things will tell you who you are. Remember, you cannot always control the outcomes in life, but you can control your effort and how you react. Thank you for joining me today. I will be discussing how to offset employment gaps in your resume. Employment gaps are periods in your professional career in which you did not have formal employment. Usually, employers consider employment gaps of 9 months or longer within the last 10 years as red flags. Due to the pandemic, employment gaps are now common, whether voluntary or involuntary. Lapses in employment are nothing to be ashamed of, but if you don't explain them, a hiring manager might reject your job application. To maximize your chances of getting an interview, clearly explain any gaps in your cover letter. Hello everyone, my name is Candace Harvey Lee and I am a professional resume writer. I started writing resumes for family and friends in 2018. After having much success, I started branching out into the larger community on Upwork and had even more success. In 2020, I started my own resume writing business through launching my website, CHLRWS.com, and networking through LinkedIn. Since then, I've helped countless individuals land job interviews, job offers, and pay increases. I post success stories, recommendations, and thank yous on all my socials. Now, I am working with multiple training academies, fellowships, and recruitment firms to help others attain career success by providing resume and career consulting services. So, top reasons for employment gaps. A gap in employment lasting more than 9 months is considered an employment gap and it requires an explanation written in a cover letter. The top reasons for an employment gap are changing careers, being laid off, medical or health reasons, parental and family matters, sabbatical, education, training, certifications, a gap year for personal development, you moved or relocated or had a death or a tragedy. So how do you explain employment gaps? So when explaining employment gaps to employers, it is important to be honest and transparent without oversharing. Employers will learn of employment gaps while reviewing your resume and utilizing a basic background check. Conversely, it is important to be concise and brief. When detailing an employment gap, don't go into too much detail. Provide a reason in 1 or 2 sentences. It is also important to be proactive by demonstrating how your employment gap has added to your skill set. And don't forget to reassure employers that gaps will not reoccur by stating your current status. So how to explain an employment gap in a cover letter. So this is an example of how to explain an employment gap in a cover letter. The candidate wrote, in the spring of 2018, I welcomed a son and took 5 years off to raise him and care for my family. During this time, I completed my bachelor's degree in graphic design. Now my son is in school and I can get back into the workforce doing what I love, graphic design. This is an example of how to list employment gaps on your resume. So the candidate has their employment break written with the reason, which is family and parenting, and the dates. In their resume, they will also have their degree listed with the completion date. The employer will review the resume and the cover letter, and they will have a deeper understanding of the candidate based on the information they provided. So how do you avoid employment gaps in the future? Well, here is a list of opportunities. For starters, you could find contract work that will provide a temporary work agreement. The types of jobs have a clear beginning and ending date. Also, volunteer opportunities. Those are a great way to assist nonprofits that may need your expertise. Entrepreneurship is another great opportunity to avoid employment gaps. You can start your own business using your expertise and skill set. You can launch your website or your YouTube channel. You can gain training and certifications as a way to grow and develop professionally. Choose training programs that will lead to an accredited certificate or license. Use this time to continue your education. This is a great opportunity to go back to school and pursue your GED or another degree. Become a military reservist. You will have to serve 1 weekend a month or 2 weeks a year. This schedule allows greater flexibility of your time to invest into other things. Lastly, make sure you keep records and documentation of all forms of work, training, and military service in case you are asked to provide proof. So this is my story. Even I have experienced employment gaps. Right after I received my bachelor's degree in 2008, it was very hard for me to find full-time employment that paid well. As a result, I took on part-time work doing substitute teaching and photography. Shortly afterwards, I decided to join the Navy in 2009. In 2016, I completed my active duty military service. I signed up for reserve duty and I was a graduate student. I also started working part-time as a Pathways intern for a federal agency called PBGC, where I met my husband. I completed my master's degree in education in 2017. I started working as a teacher, I got married, and I had a baby. I decided to go back to work for the federal government, working for GSA in 2019. I experienced unemployment after departing GSA due to health issues. I was able to secure employment as a contractor for VHA shortly afterwards. Simultaneously, I started my own resume writing business to supplement my income. Even though I started writing resumes for family and friends in 2018, I was not doing it as a steady stream of income. CHLRWS was born during the pandemic in 2020 when I experienced unemployment. I also fell in love with teaching due to my substitute teaching experience, which I never would have discovered if I didn't experience unemployment. Now, CHLRWS is working with multiple training academies, fellowships, and recruitment firms to help others attain career success by providing resume and career consulting services. I invested into myself and my business, and it grew. I also began working for the U.S. Department of Education in 2021. I am happy where I am at. My unemployment gaps motivated me to explore other career opportunities, which produce multiple streams of income. You too can do the same. So now, time for questions and answers. Michael D. from Memphis, Tennessee asks, are employment gaps bad? Wow, okay. Well, to answer your question, Michael, employment gaps are not necessarily a bad thing. However, they can cause some employers to be apprehensive. Hiring managers want to know what circumstances surrounding the situation to determine your growth trajectory and how you will fit in with the team culture. Next question comes from Nathan M. from Houston, Texas. He asks, how long is too long of an employment gap? Thank you, Nathan. To answer your question, no employment gap is too long that it would leave you unemployable. However, after 9 months of unemployment, you may see a reduction in interviews, offers, and follow-ups. The last question comes from Candace G. from Seattle, Washington. She asks, What should I write in my cover letter if I have an employment gap from being laid off? Thank you, Candace. Did you start a company? Did you go back to school? Or did you learn a new skill or trade? Whatever your story may be, explain it in your cover letter. You can use your cover letter to explain what you did to stay relevant during your employment gap. When writing about being laid off, remember, less is more. Do not be negative and do not blame the company. For the cover letter, you could say something along the lines of, unfortunately, the company GRP was sold and I was caught in a reduction of force. During that time, I invested in professional development training to build my skill set moving forward. And then in your resume, don't forget to list the relevant professional development training that you went through with the dates. So that's all the time we have for questions and answers. Thank you so much, everyone. So thank you all for attending this web event. If you haven't done so already, click the like, subscribe, and follow for more original content. CHLRWS is an industry leader at writing effective cover letters that can help you stand out to recruiters and set you apart from the competition. If you need any support, do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you.